So as you know, this show, Making Money, is a solutions-oriented show. We always focus on finding opportunities, and also from time to time, we'd like to clear up mysteries or incorrect assumptions. Blinded by the Light was written by Bruce Springsteen and covered by Manfred Mann's The Earthman. And I just got to give you the lyrics because we keep messing them up. Blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night. Okay? Blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce, and another runner in the night. And that brings me to my next guest because he says it's all about light, folks, and it's all revved up, and this is where you want to be invested big time. Let's bring in Jared Levy, DBHW, Wealth Partners, Director of Investment Management. Jared, I love this optical story. I've been covering it a lot more probably than anybody else in financial media in the last couple of years. And some are saying it's the greatest bottleneck out there, even more so than memory. Now here's the thing. From February to March, it outperformed memory like big time. And some are thinking we could be on the cusp of one of those surges. Do you feel that way?
I do. First of all, I'm glad you didn't ask me to sing, so good to see you. Yeah. On that, Charles, I do. I think that, first of all, let me just say this. I think it's important. Photonics, fiber, and information transport or information transmission, in my mind, are the new railroads of the modern industrial revolution. And I think nothing has been laid yet. And P.S., it's not going to be like the railroads we have today where they're just scant crossings across high areas. Right. This is something that's going to be big. And I think that's, to your point, I think we need to look at it in that way. I think folks are kind of getting caught up in the now, and they're not sort of thinking about the magnitude of how much we need these things, light, photonic companies, transceivers, lasers, all these things. And I think that's where kind of the argument's getting lost a little bit.
Yeah, and I think, you could look out to 2031, 32, as we go from all the way to co-packaged optics, which ultimately should be big time, even bigger money and bigger margins. Now, I want to ask about the potential ban on Chinese optical names and whether that will help or hurt. Obviously, it's good if you have less competition, but many are saying it could be a problem because there's just not enough overall capacity.
That's tough. And I'm reading both articles and trying to find the way, selfishly, for, companies like Coherent and for Lumentum. I think that a ban on Chinese transceivers would be a huge boom for them, obviously. I think for the industry, though, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a stumbling block. But, again, in my mind, we got to think, listen, security, digital security, the security of our information is critical. And maybe it's not a complete ban, but a partial ban. And again, we're getting into, things a lot of folks don't understand. And I don't know if you necessarily need to, but I guess the short answer is, I think the ban would be good for certain companies. Yeah. I do think it would stunt growth in the industry, and believe it or not, could in the short term. So you have an initial boost if a ban does get passed, but then you have this sort of, remember, it takes a long time to manufacture these things, and like you said, the supply, that whole supply chain, that whole vertical, it would take time to catch up, so you could see a lull. But I'll be honest with you, I am for at least a partial ban.
Yeah, so am I. I am as well. And listen, it's too critical of an industry, and the intricate part, you said it, it's the highway system, right? So you like Coherent. I know you also like Lumentum. I want to shift over to another area that you like. It's water. What's the deal here with water? Because I know you like a couple of water names here, including American Water Works.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this, and as we've built out our AI, deep signal fund, my focus has been on, all right, so what are the things that people are overlooking? In water, I've got some stats for you. 40% of U.S. data centers right now are in areas of high or extreme water stress. All right, 2/3 of new data centers built since 2022. They are already in water-stressed regions, and there's this weird dynamic, Charles, and I'm sure you've seen this. The areas that are great for renewables, like solar, like wind, they're usually out in the middle of nowhere, they've got no water, right? And the areas where there's water, they don't have renewables. So you have this mess. There's a disconnect there. And our water system, our purification system is far outdated. And again, companies like American Water Works, Xylem, I think, stand to benefit from that. There are also other issues with our water. You can talk about pollutants that, there really aren't federal mandates yet to measure, which again, I think folks are going to start taking a harder, longer look at. and we're going to need renewing of our water system, of our delivery systems. And listen, this is something, Charles, as much as people want to bang their heads and say, not in my yard, we've got to build this, Charles.
I agree,
this
and we will. There's no doubt about it, and I feel bad for the places that push it away. Hey, I got less than a minute to go. I want to circle back, because the first chart I talked about how optics significantly outperform memory. Memory is under some pressure here. I don't know if it's because NVIDIA is trying to find a way to use less of it in their new rack system. What do you feel about memory stocks here?
We like memory. I do think that it's a little bit different because you've got a lot more sort of competition in that area. I still would be an owner of memory, but you've got to be, I think, strategic and be prepared for volatility. Same thing in photonics and all the things. But I'm okay owning memory. I like NVIDIA. I really, again, these hardware makers, sort of, we'll call it the best in breed hardware makers, is a place I think you kind of want to be. But again, you're going to have to withstand a little bit of volatility probably here over the next 6 months to a year as things shake out and as that supply chain evens out and cleans up.
I think anyone who's been in them this year probably understands the volatility part. But the reward at the end has been worth it so far. Jared, thanks a lot. Great. Enjoyed the conversation.
Great to see you, Charles.
All right, folks. Now, my next guest is using weakness in memory, actually, to